It's time to fire this thing up.
Welcome aboard ShipShape TV Essentials. This is your port of call for the most impactful upgrades, expert advice, and hands-on solutions from seasons past. This episode is proudly brought to you by SureHold, because anything worth doing is worth doing bright. From cleaning to protecting and perfecting, SureHold has everything you need to keep your boat shining. Don't just go boating, go showboating. Now, let's hoist anchor and set a course for another exciting episode of ShipShape TV Essentials.
If boating's your game, then you'll agree. ShipShape is the way to be. Out on the lake or on the sea, ShipShape means trouble-free. ShipShape means being neater. ShipShape makes boat work easier. ShipShape is the way to go. The ShipShape Boat Care Show.
It's great to have you working around the boat with us again today on ShipShape TV. I'm John Greviskis. Today we're going to be talking about shore power and marine air conditioning. If you have a smaller boat with a cabin or a cuddy cabin, we're going to show you how easy and how affordable marine air conditioning can be. Our special guest today is Tim Jankowiak of Mermaid Air Conditioning. We're also going to be speccing out a new boat on a segment we call What's Hot on the Water, and we're going to show you a few tips on how to pull your boat up to a fuel dock in a strong current. Get ready for a couple more great ways to make your boat shipshape.
ShipShape, America's favorite boat improvement show, is being brought to you in part by Stainless Marine. Fly like an eagle with performance-proven products for every boat owner. Mid-Island Marina, home of the VIP guarantee.
And by Mermaid Marine Air. It's great to sleep with a mermaid.
This boat originally had shore power, but it's pretty old. It's from 1978, and so we want to update it. Now, this is a Marineco 30 amp power inlet for our shore power. And we basically have two types of shore power. You either have 50 amp or 30 amp. 50 amp is for a boat maybe 40 foot or larger, but in this case, we're going to go with a 30 amp service. Nick, you want to take a look at any of this?
Sure. Yeah, we're going to need to hook these wires up.
Now, Nick, primarily we're going to be using our shore power for our air conditioning, but what other accessories are we going to be using?
Well, John, I figure since we're bringing 110 power into the boat anyway, let's throw a couple outlets in.
Okay, now what would we use the outlets for?
Usually on a boat like this, especially where you have a little galley and you're going to do some sleepovers, you might want to put a coffee maker in or a little hot plate or something like that, or even a television.
Oh, you got to have a TV, especially when you do a TV show.
You're going to want ShipShape.
Of course, of course.
Now, most of your marinas will have both 30 and 50 amp service right at the dock. And
some marinas only have 50 amp service. Now,
That's
what
true.
are we going to do on that? We have a 30 amp service here.
Well, I was hoping you'd ask that, John. Fortunately, Marineco makes an adapter which will adapt the 50 amp over to the 30 amp. So we would just plug this in at the dock and it will allow our 30 amp cord to run into the boat. Now they also make another adapter, and this is one of my personal favorites because it's kind of handy if you're working around the house, the boat's on a trailer or something. You can plug this into this outlet in the side of the boat and put a regular extension cord on it. You probably wouldn't want to use this in the marina because the boat's moving up and down and you might get a bad connection here with this, so you'd use your bigger cord in a marina.
Absolutely.
It's a nice handy outlet though.
Nick, I also was thinking about hooking up a refrigerator.
Great idea, John. It's nice to have cold drinks out there. Also, I think on a boat this size, a battery charger would be good. So we've got the outlets, refrigerator, charger, air conditioning. We'll run that 5-panel breaker and we'll be fine. We'll mount that in the cuddy cabin.
How are we going to hook up our 30 amp inlet?
All right, John. The 120 AC voltage wiring is pretty straightforward. We have our green as a ground, and we have our two alternating currents, our line and our load. We want to be careful when we're hooking up on a boat. We want to do a thing that's called polarizing.
Now, what is that?
All right, polarizing is we want to keep all of our whites and all of our blacks the same throughout the boat. Now, since this is AC current or alternating current, the accessory or appliance will work whether these are one way or the other. it's important to polarize on a boat.
What would happen if you didn't?
If you don't polarize on a boat, it could cause electrolysis. We could have some stray voltage running through the system and tear up all the zincs. You pull some current in from the shore power dock that's not grounded properly. Just not a good thing.
So it's an important thing.
Yes.
Well, let me feed this through, and we can go ahead and hook it up.
Now again, notice everything's color-coded, green, black, and white. We'll hook these wires in, and then we'll run them on down and around.
We ran our wire according to code using support clamps every 18 inches all the way to our galley.
We then took and cut a hole out and mounted our breaker panel. We hooked our 3 wires coming in from the AC 120 volts and hooked the black to the strip on the back of the panel, the white or the neutral to a common terminal block, and the green to a ground block.
Yeah, that came out nice. Well, right now we need to go to break, but you'll want to stick around because when we come back, we're going to show you how easy it is to install marine air conditioning, as well as some tips on how to pull your boat up to a fuel dock in strong currents. Stay with us.
ShipShape TV will be right back.
The SureHold One Bucket System is your storage and detailing solution. Featuring an ergonomic corrosion-free rope handle, a bucket caddy to organize your supplies and lift them out with ease, a bucket grate to elevate your wash tools out of dirty water with integrated soap measuring cups, a bucket base that won't let your bucket scratch, tip, or slip, and a bucket lid that keeps tools secure and doubles as a comfortable seat. The SureHold One Bucket System, the world's best rope handle 5-gallon bucket. SureHold, clean and simple.
We now return to ShipShape TV.
This week on You Can Do It, we want to take a look at a few tricks on when you're approaching a fuel dock. Now, one of the first things you want to do is take your time, sit back and evaluate the situation. Take a look at the water and the wind and see which way the wind or the water are going. If you have a strong current, it's best that you take your boat and put it bow into the current, and the same with the wind. Now, by having your boat bow in, you're going to maintain more control. Next thing is approach the dock at approximately a 15-degree angle. Come in nice and easy, as I'm doing. Ease in. When you get close, turn your drive the opposite direction and go to reverse. Once you're laid into the dock, remember to tie the bow off first. That's going to keep you from being blown back because, again, you're into the current. Remember, boating's easy and it's fun because you can do it.
Well, here we are back at the project boat, and we have a very special guest today on the show. His name is Tim Jankowiak, and he's with Mermaid Marine Air Conditioning. And Tim, I was hoping that you could answer a few questions that our audience might have about marine air conditioning.
Sure, John.
First off, how do you determine what size unit you need for your particular boat?
Well, John, basically it's a function of cabin volume. We determine the volume by multiplying height times width times length and come up with a volume, and we multiply that volume by an industry standard of about 14.
Well, in our particular case, we have a cabin volume of 450 cubic feet. We multiply that figure times 14, and that gives us like 6,300.
That's correct.
That's why we're going with the 6,500
That's
BTU,
correct. That's
because it's a close match.
Close match.
Okay. Tell me some of the different components of the air conditioning unit.
Sure, John. All marine air conditioners are basically made up of 7 components. A compressor, an evaporator, a blower, a condensing coil, a place to house your electrical components such as relays and capacitors, and a thermostat, as well as a seawater pump that pumps water through the equipment.
Now, this is an all-inclusive kit. You don't have to go all over town to get all of these different products. You supply them all in the one kit. What are we looking at price-wise for something like this?
It's about $1,000, John.
Okay, so it's reachable.
It's very reasonable.
It's affordable. Let's talk about generator. If you have a generator, how much power do you need to run one of your air conditioners?
Well, John, the 2,000-watt generator would easily power not only the air conditioner, but the other appliances that you plan on putting on your boat.
Okay, so 2 kW generator is more than adequate.
That's correct.
What about these inverters that I'm hearing about? You can actually run a air conditioner off of a bank of batteries?
Right, it converts AC to DC, and runs the air conditioner just like you would run off of shore power.
That sounds very fascinating to me. I think we might have to maybe do that project in the
Sure.
future. Tim, right now I want us to take a look at this great new boat that's out on the water. Let's have a look at it together.
My assignment this week is to check out Bayliner's 3388 Command Bridge motor yacht. Remarkably easy to own, this twin inboard motor yacht offers 2 private double berths and comfort galore. Let's fire it up and take it for a spin. The twin Mercruisers are tightly nestled below deck in a soundproof engine compartment, making major service work a tad tricky. On plane, the ride was soft and dry, making negotiating of large wakes a breeze. I immediately thought I was in a much larger boat. Docking and maneuvering around tight marinas was easy with the twin inboards. Visibility from either helm location was good. The upper station view is exceptional, but I'm glad the lower station is there when those afternoon thunderstorms come along.
Well, Boatorama been in business for 41 years. We got locations in Dade County, Broward, and Palm Beach. We're the largest Bayliner dealer in the southeast of the United States. You can come and see Tony in Miami. You can come and see myself at Pompano or check out in Palm Beach. We have service, we have parts, and we have the best prices in Bayliner boats in the market.
This boat is a direct descendant of Bayliner's best-selling cabin cruiser, the 32-footer. In fact, 3,200 boats were sold before they retired the model just a few years ago. The new 3388 Command Bridge is a result of customer input and focus groups, and boy, did it pay off. It has twice the speed and double the storage, and 3 times the engineering know-how. Over the past 14 years, the technique and technology of boat building have been revolutionized. Bayliner decided to take advantage of these new developments and improve on an already successful model. This bright, airy salon with comfortable settee and removable table offers seated passengers a remarkable view. This raised dining and helm area gives way for the spacious mid-cabin. With accommodations for 2 below, it offers privacy and comfort. The gourmet galley is well equipped with propane stove and oven, microwave, AC/DC refrigerator, double sink with hot and cold water. Stand-up shower in the head with full functional marine toilet and holding tank are also standard. The large double berth in the stateroom hides large storage compartments for vacations, and ample closet space is noted as well. The cockpit is designed with the family in mind, with its thigh-high gunnels and well-secured transom door, making boarding on the standard swim platform fast and easy. Sink and washdown are also included in the cockpit area. From the bridge, the helmsman has a perfect view of the bow with built-in sun lounger. Ergonomically laid out, the controls are easily reached and manipulated.
Big sale the weekend of June 6th, 7th, and 8th. We are the only Bayliner dealer authorized for the liquidation sale. Truckloads of boats coming daily to all of our stores, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. That weekend is the time to purchase a boat. Bayliner have chosen us because we've been in business for 41 years, serving Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. Come and see one of us at Boatorama.
The 3388 is by far one of the best-priced motor yachts in the industry, giving the family an affordable second home and vacation getaway. Reporting for ShipShape TV, I'm Elizabeth Saunders. Back to you, John.
John, great boat.
I'll tell you, these boats are so much fun to not only go out and test, but they're great to be on.
I'll tell you what, makes me want to go boating. Let's get this air conditioner in and hit the water. What do you say?
That sounds great. You know, when I was talking to Tim from Mermaid Air Conditioning, you were inside the cabin doing a few things. Give us a heads up. What were you doing in there?
What I did, John, was I laid out our air inlet and our air exhaust vents. Now, the inlet is a way that the air conditioning unit itself can bring fresh air in all the time to keep it cool, etc. And the exhaust is the cold air that's going to run into the cabin. Now, the placement of these 2 vents are critical. We don't want the exhaust facing the inlet, otherwise we're going to keep recirculating the same air. We want to keep them away from each other, and if possible, put the exhaust or the cold air coming out as high as you can in the cabin.
Great, good advice. Now, it looks to me like we're going to be talking about some plumbing here, and we've got a lot of components here.
Right.
Give us a rundown of all the different elements of our water system.
Well, I wanted to lay this out, John, because normally it's not component failures in an air conditioning that gives you the problems. It's the installation, and the installation of the plumbing is one of the areas in which usually we get into the most trouble.
Yeah, it's key, it's key.
So we're going to start right here at the beginning, and this is a scoop. And this is going to go through the bottom of the boat, and this is going to allow this unit to pick up water as we're moving. So if you have the generator or the inverter and the boat's moving along, we're still going to pick up some water.
Okay.
Now let's talk about the water for a moment. The reason we have water or seawater going through this unit is to transfer the heat that's built up through the Freon back into the water. Now, at home, you've got that big square box outside your house and the fan's running. Well, what that's doing is constantly cooling the Freon with fresh air. We don't have that in a boat. We don't have the space for that.
Okay.
And that's another reason why these things are so small and they work so well, because we don't need that big box.
All right.
Okay, so we're back to the scoop. We're bringing water in. We have a seacock or a ball valve here. This is more for safety than anything else. If there's a failure anywhere in the system or a leak, we just basically turn this right off and not worry about the boat sinking because of it.
Real quick, let's give guys that already have air conditioning on their boat a little tip about that shutoff valve. If before you go on a lift, before you pick your boat up on a lift, you can keep your system primed by just shutting this off. Just a little tip there.
Great, John. From here, we're going to bring the water through the valve over to a sea strainer, and this is important that we have some sort of a filter. We don't want to ruin this pump, so we want something to catch any seaweed or dirt that's in the water if you're sitting in a harbor someplace.
So this is a filter. The raw water is coming in through here, and then any particles are going to be picked up here.
Right, and that's serviceable. You want to keep an eye on it in the boat. You can just unscrew it and basically clean any debris out of it.
All right. Now where's the water running?
We're going into the bottom of the pump, and this is where we're going to draw our suction, and this needs to be mounted below the water line so it can get a prime.
Okay.
From there, we go to a bleed-off valve, and the bleed-off valve is there as an effort to help us prime the pump. In case we don't get a prime, we can open or close it to help it prime.
Right.
Go through the bleed-off valve, right into the unit. It circulates through the unit, cools the Freon, and then goes out of the boat. And this is something that's pretty unique. Mermaid has pretty much designed this themselves. This is called a condensator, and basically the water goes through here and goes through a Venturi, creates a vacuum, and it goes down to the bottom of the pan of the air conditioner. Now normally what would happen is all air conditioning units, whether it's household, wall unit, what have you, they always drip water. You see it all the time.
Yeah.
They sweat, and it's a constant thing. Well, Mermaid said, well, why should we put all that water into the bilge? They came up with this condensator, which makes a vacuum and sucks the water right out of the bottom of the pan and puts it out of the boat with the rest of the water.
Man, that is great. Well, right now, we need to hear a word from the people who make this show possible. But stick around, because when we come back, we're going to show you step-by-step instructions of how to put in your system. Stay tuned.
ShipShape TV will be right back.
When you seriously want your expensive wax and buffing pads rejuvenated to a like-new condition, you seriously want Sure-Hold Industries Serious Pad Cleaner. Scientifically formulated to quickly dissolve compounds and waxes from all wool pads, foam pads, microfiber towels, cotton bonnets, even blended buffing pads. All it takes is adding this Serious Pad Cleaner powder to your arsenal. Serious Pad Cleaner, another answer from Sure-Hold Industries' clean and simple solutions for detailing all your toys.
And now back to the project.
Welcome back. We finished installing our water system. Nick, why don't you tell them how we did it?
Sure, John. We started with our 3/4-inch seacock and drilled it through the hull bottom. And then used plenty of 5200 on the flanges and screws that held it in place to help prevent any leaks. Next, I installed all of our hose barbs and nipples on the seacock strainer and pump, making sure to use pipe dope to seal up all the threads. I mounted the pump and strainer here and here, and ran our reinforced hose that was supplied with our kit, being sure to double clamp all of the connections. Finally, I ran the hose and the pump wires up to the galley area to the air conditioner unit.
This is our galley area, and right here is where a refrigerator mounts, and that goes back 15 inches. So what we needed to do is we needed to make sure that we had enough clearance for our air conditioner to fit in this space. So what we needed to do is we needed to build a subfloor. Nick glassed this in earlier today to lift our air conditioning unit up off the ground and give us enough room, enough clearance in between the refrigerator and where the air conditioner is going to mount. Let me put this thing in here. And this is a pretty light unit. It only weighs maybe 35, 40 pounds. And we'll go ahead and set her up in. Now I need to reposition it so I can put some rubber pads underneath it to give us a nice tilt for our drain pan. And I'll lift it up here by the collar. And there we go. That looks good. Now we can go ahead and fasten it in place. Next thing we need to do is mount this gray electrical box. And we're going to turn it upside down so that we can wire it from the front. What do you think of that, Nick?
That looks good, John. We'll just take this 12-3 triplex and we'll run it from the breaker panel we installed down to that electrical box, giving the 120 volts to the whole system. We've only got a few more connections to do from there. We've got the water inlet, which we brought from the back of the boat. We'll hook that into the unit. Then we need to get the water out because remember it's going to circulate through.
Right.
So we'll hook up the condensator to a through hole, so we'll have an exhaust out. We'll wire it. I think all we got to do from there is probably put the duct on and, oh yeah, the thermostat.
Yeah, where do you want to mount that?
The thermostat shouldn't be mounted too close to the exhaust because you want the cold air blowing on. It'll be, you'll think it's always cold in here, and you don't want it in the sun either, thinking it's always hot. So we'll mount it on an interior bulkhead, probably right here.
Okay, great. Well, right now we need to take a break, but stick around because when we come back, we're actually going to fire this baby up.
Cool.
Real good. Okay.
Here's what's coming up next on ShipShape TV.
When it's time to clean up those nasty, dirty, grungy dock lines, then it's time for you to pick up today the new rope and cord brush from Shorehold Industries. The adjustable, flexible design easily wraps around half-inch to 1-inch, twisted or braided ropes, power cords, garden or bilge hoses, even your stainless steel rub rails. Use the might of this new brush with the cleaning power of Shorehold's SMC cleaner. Simply soak, then brush, sparkling clean. So get scrubbing today.
We now return to ShipShape.
Nick, that wasn't as bad as I envisioned it. This was pretty easy.
Wasn't bad, John. We knocked it out pretty quick. Nice installation.
Well, we don't want people to think that we're crazy. We hooked this thing up to some water. We had some special kind of plumbing situation.
It's
what was that?
A flush attachment that goes right underneath the seacock in the bottom of the boat, and you can run air conditioners or like you're testing your live wells, whatever. Nice little flush deal. Works good.
It's nice and cool in here.
Yeah, it sure is.
We want to thank the guys from Marineco for all the shore power equipment and
good advice too.
Oh yeah, and also we want to thank the guys from Mermaid Marine Air Conditioning. As you can hear or maybe not hear, this is one of the quietest AC units out in the market.
Definitely.
Well, that's about all the time we have for this week's show. If you have any comments or any suggestions for a project for yourself, why don't you jump on the World Wide Web? Our address is www.shipshapetv.com.
And John and I each have an email address also. That would be john@shipshapetv.com or nick@shipshapetv.com.
You can also fax us your suggestions. Our fax number is area code 561-626-4348. Till next week, guys, keep your boat ship-shape.
Well, we had a rain shower that we had. Ship-shape is the way to be. Out on the lake or on the
Let's go get the bucket.
Ship-shape means
What are we going to do?
Tape it 18 inches.
Ship-shape means being easier.
Move your hand down.
Ship-shape makes boat work easier.
Into this boat. I don't know if I said that right. Did I say that right?
Ship-shape boat gear shows.
I'll take time. You got a time code on that?